Hey you guys, guess who has two thumbs and forgot to film a video yesterday? That's right, this girl. Yesterday I had a ton of stuff going on, which I know isn't really an excuse, but we had that bake sale that I cooked for all week, and then my high school volleyball coach. I didn't play volleyball. I'm really uncoordinated, but I kept stats for our high school volleyball and track coach, and she coached for over 30 years and has been inducted to the Hall of Fame in our county. And some of the girls that she used to coach had a get-together for her yesterday that I went to. And then I went to see Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters with B and Jerry. I really would like to read that book and do a book-to-movie review of it because I really enjoyed the movie, which was not something that happened when I watched The Lightning Thief. I didn't enjoy it at all. So I didn't get a chance to reread before the movie, so I'm going to start that book today, and hopefully, depending on how quickly I get that book read, in the next couple of weeks I'll be able to do a book-to-movie review of the book and the movie together. Anyway, moving on, today I'm going to do my summer favorites, which is just a small list. There's been a lot of things I've really enjoyed this summer that I probably will forget to put on here, but the big things that I've really enjoyed, I wanted to just kind of highlight. Of course, I'll upload this on my phone, and then this afternoon I have a lunch date with my aunt, so this afternoon when I get online, I'll leave you guys some links for some of the stuff I talked about in this video. The first thing that I've really, really enjoyed all summer long is this Figs and Rouge multitasking lip balm in soft cherry. This is a British brand, this is not a band, this is a brand, and I got it in my Glossy box one week, or maybe Glossy box, maybe Birchbox, not Birchbox, but I think in the Glossy box I got this. It's a really great color. It's just a really light pink, and when you put it on, it adds just a little hint of color, which is great if you're just running some errands or doing your thing. The thing I really like about it is it feels so good on your lips, which I know in the summer I have a lot of dry, chapped lips issues, kind of similar to winter because I'm in the sun so much, and I put on chapstick that has SPF in it, but at the end of the day, it only does so much. I've been pairing this a lot if I want a little more color with my Model Co. cheek and lip tint. That's what I have on today. I have the tint and the color. It just kind of brightens that pop that you get, and it's nice. So it's a little longer lasting too, because this is a stain that lasts pretty long, several hours, so that's been nice. The other thing I struggle with in the summer especially is powder. I tend to get dry, but I also get oily, so you know, a lot of times if you put powder on, it gets really like flaky and cakey, and you can see exactly where you've had any kind of skin imperfection. But I've been using this Avon translucent powder, and it's just their Ideal Flawless, which they've actually changed the brand name because I had to buy Alyssa translucent powder too. And it was a totally different brand. It's like a long-lasting kind. But the great thing about translucent powder is it's so much lighter than normal powder. Anybody can wear it regardless of their skin tone, because all it does is kind of set your makeup. If you have spots that are trouble, like if you're a little oily because of the weather, or just because, you know, the changing in the summertime, there's so much change in temperature and stuff. So this is really good because you can put it on over your makeup without worrying about it changing any of your tints. I know when you have regular powder, if you put it on over blush or over your eye makeup or anything like that, bronzer, it can change the look that you're going for. But translucent powder doesn't do that, so that's been a big, huge help this summer. My last beauty favorite is this Fiber Lash Extend Lengthening Mascara, and it's also from Model Co. Corporation. Anyway, Model Co. I got this in a glossy box too. That's upside down. Sorry. And it's really nice because it has a mirror in it, which helps, like if you're, I usually do my makeup at a mirror at my vanity, but if I'm out and I need to reapply, or if I've just thrown this in my work bag because I haven't had a chance to put all my makeup on, you know, it's easy to apply it with that. I love makeup with built-in mirrors. It's one of my favorites. So those are kind of my beauty standbys that I've used all summer long, along with sunblock, which I've used like 10 different brands, so I don't even know which ones of those are my favorites. As far as books, I started rereading this In Death series by J.D. Robb. It's actually by Nora Roberts, who's really famous for her romance novels. And she's actually one of my favorite writers. I've been reading her since I was in high school and thought I was too cool for books that they told us to do. When I was a little kid, when I was younger and teenager, there wasn't a huge young adult market. So I was reading adult books as a teenager, and now as an adult, I'm reading books for teenagers, but it is what it is. But these books are futuristic mystery crime novels, and they center around a woman named Eve Dallas, who is a police officer in the year 2058. And most of these books were written in the early 90s, mid-90s, and it's really, really cool to see, you know, the changes that were predicted for us. It's been like 30 years since they've been written, and they're set 40 years in this future, but it's just kind of cool to see, you know, the changes that she thinks were going to happen. It's also a really good story. There's a little bit of romance, there's a little bit of intrigue, there's always a good mystery, and even though, like, I've read these before, I read them in, like, 2008, 2009, or even before that. The last one that I read, though, was probably 2009. It's nice to go back and read them and still be surprised. Like, I recognize characters, but I don't remember the entire plot. And she does such a good job of not falling into all of the tropes. And I've been rereading the Stephanie Plum novels, which I love, but it's like every book is exactly the same. And it's still enjoyable, and I like reading it, but there's a lot of different things that happen in these books, and I appreciate that. Everything else I don't have a visual aid for, and I'll put links in the down below part for that. This summer I worked and did a summer camp, and part of that was transport, and I drove every day. I had 124 miles that I drove to pick kids up, and I was in the car by myself for 30 to 40 minutes depending on which kids were available. And so during that time I spent a lot of one-on-one time with my iPod and the radio. So this summer there were two big hits that I absolutely loved, and one of those was Paramore's Still Into You. And I thought it was such a great love song because it's like rocking out, and it's so happy, and it's so upbeat, and it's so fun. And I just really enjoyed that song. And every time it would come on the radio, I would just be like, yes, this is my jam. And I liked it so much that I ended up buying that entire album. I'm a huge Paramore fan, and that is a great album if you guys like kind of more rocky, upbeat kind of music. I really, really enjoyed it. And I love Hayley Williams' voice, so I'm probably biased. The other thing that I learned this summer is that Walt from Lost, which is a show that I watched in its entirety the summer before the last season premiered, and then I watched the last season with my aunt and loved it. I'm a huge Lost fan. But the guy who played Walt in that has a band, and that band is called MKTO. And they have a song called Classic out, and it was also similar. It's kind of upbeat, poppy, R&B kind of song, and it's just, again, one of those songs that I love to hear in the car. It's great to drive to. It's really upbeat and happy, and I've really enjoyed having it. So that was 5 and 6. The other thing that I utilized a lot this summer when I was in my car were podcasts. Music, I tend to zone out, and when you're leaving your house before 7 a.m. to drive through the countryside, it can be a little dangerous to get in your music-loving zone. So I turned to podcasts because they're kind of like a news story. A lot of the ones that I listened to were kind of like listening to like The Soup or Good Morning America or something like that. They had a lot of different hosts, and they talked about things that I really enjoyed. So I listened to a lot of those over the summer. Specifically, I listened to Hypable, which is a website, hypable.com, and they have a ton of podcasts. The ones I listened to were Hype, which is just general entertainment news that covers music and movies and TV and books and just things like Comic-Con and LeakyCon that I went to. They talk about casting, they talk about actors and authors and directors and musicians. It's really, really cool. It kind of covers the whole gambit of any type of entertainment stuff. I also listen to Who Hype, which is about Doctor Who, obviously, and they kind of do episode recaps and talk about predictions that they're going to make for upcoming episodes or now the upcoming season that's happening. I also listen to Book Hype, which is a book podcast that they just talk about. They do some that are general news about books and authors, and then they do some that are specifically for a specific book. They do like a book club where they tell you what they're going to be reading, and you can read it, and then they discuss it, and they talk about just different facets of the book, like their opinions and like plot points that worked, plot points that didn't, more work from this author. And so those are the 3 that I mainly listen to. They also do one called Rewatchable, and right now they're rewatching Firefly, or they just finished rewatching Firefly by Joss Whedon. And so I'm probably going to be listening to that when I go back to school in a little over a week and a half. So in about a week and a half I go back to school, and I'll have like a 25-minute commute. So I'll probably start rewatching an episode of Firefly and then listening to the episode of the podcast that coexists with that, and then watching the next episode, and so on and so forth. The other one that I listen to is called The Ensemblist, and it's really cool if you are into musical theater or theater in general, Broadway type stuff. There are 2 people who have always been like kind of in the ensemble cast, and what they're doing is a podcast about the ensemble of a Broadway show. A lot of people hear about the perspective of being the star or being the choreographer or the director, but you don't really ever hear from people who make up the chorus or the ensemble. So they kind of take each aspect of being an ensemblist, and they do a podcast where they talk to people who are doing that currently, people who have done that in the past, and they talk about their own experiences. And each of those episodes are about 25 minutes long, and they're really, really interesting for me. Alyssa and I both did show choir in high school. I just did that play with our middle school that I work at. But never had the desire to be a Broadway star, but I'm fascinated with the inner workings of theater. And so it's really cool to listen to because you get a whole different perspective than what is usually available to fans. So I will link both of those. I'll link Hypable's website with all of their podcasts below, and then I'll link the Ensemblist's website with links. It has a bunch of different ways that you can obtain those podcasts, and then other ways you can follow that. I'll link both of those below. Then the only thing I have left are 2 fashion favorites. This summer I worked every single day, and I went on a couple of trips. And one of the things that was a huge lifesaver for me were maxi skirts. I really enjoy maxi skirts because it's not overwhelming to wear a maxi skirt. They're not hot when you're outside in 90-degree weather, and then we would go inside and be in a classroom, so it would be air conditioned and it would be like 20 degrees in there. Not 20, but like 60. And when you go from 90 to 60 degrees, that's a big difference in temperature. So maxi skirts were great for that because I could be cool outside, but I still had coverage when I came inside. Also, I work with middle school boys, so I'm not wearing anything that I have a lot of coverage. Maxi skirts are also great because you can dress them up really easily with like a cute tank top or a cute blouse and gladiator sandals, but you can dress them down just as easily with a pair of flip-flops and a cute printed t-shirt, which are both options that I did. They're also easy to pack. I took a lot of trips this summer, did a lot of maxi skirts in my bag, so those were a huge lifesaver for me. And they transition well, because I've talked about that before. I like things that transition. So they're really good for summer, but you can wear them year long and be just as appropriate. In the wintertime, maybe not trekking through snow, but like when it gets cooler in fall or in spring when it starts to be cool, but warm up slightly, maxi skirts are a good option for both of those seasons. And the last thing that I've been a huge fan of, I'm letting my hair grow out, which I've been doing unintentionally for a while, and then I went before my friend Katie's wedding, and I got some layers put in the bottom, which are hard to see, but mainly because I need to trim again. Got my bangs trimmed up. So longer hair is fantastic because I can put it up, but I get bored with a ponytail every day. So I've been doing a lot of braids. I have little ones in the side of my hair now that you can't really see. Oh, you can see that one. And it's kind of half pulled back with little braids. I've done side ponies a little bit, or side braids, or a braid into a side pony, and they have just been such a good thing. And even when my hair was short, I could put a braid across my bangs and incorporate my bangs into them. And I think they're really trendy right now, braids are, but I think part of the reason that braids are so trendy is that they're so versatile and they're so easy to pull off. Almost anyone can do just a simple braid. And regardless of the length of your hair, I mean, like if you have a pixie cut, that's taking away your ability to do braids. But if you have anything, you know, from a bob on, you can incorporate a braid into your daily hairstyle. And there are enough different kinds of braids or enough different ways to style your hair with a braid that you could wear a braid every single day and do something different with your hair. So I've been a huge fan of them. I think that Alyssa is going to post a favorites video, maybe not today, maybe later next week, because she's not at home, so it's hard to do those when you don't have your supplies with you. But hopefully she'll be posting a favorites video soon, and let us know in the comments things that you loved this summer so far, and I'll see you later. Bye!